live from Trinidad and Tobago.
Welcome to Connections 50 Plus Wednesdays live show.
I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph.
Hello. Good afternoon again. It's Wednesday. Well, not really Wednesday live, it's Wednesday alive. And I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite, one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus.
And I'm Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, the other co-creator of Connections 50 Plus.
I know you all are seeing some people down below, and we'll introduce them just now. But Jennifer, we still wafting on yesterday. Did everybody welcome from the Caribbean, welcome
Yes.
Trinidad, welcome world. Did you all join Fix Up yesterday afternoon?
And yesterday was really, a fantastic day for us. Why? Because we launched our magazine show on Gael Cable TV, Fix Up 5.8G. We were all, it was a lot of excitement, and the feedback has been really, really great from the followers, from those who watched it.
Yes.
And we're having a repeat. We're going to do a replay actually on our YouTube channel, and you can still find it on the Facebook page.
Yes.
So, yes.
Well, the nice thing is that Fix Up is all about us taking care of ourselves. It's another element of the Connections program. And as you all know, we are preparing Life 5.8G, the 50 to 80 generation. And there is something special going on in the world this week. On Friday, July 24th, every single year is designated World Self-Care Day. There is an official day for this. And we thought this is such a natural fit with us. And in doing some research on it, we found that the World Health Organization is projecting by 2030, just 10 years down the road, there will be a shortage of 18 million healthcare professionals, and right now in the world, 400 million people are without direct access to essential services. Even in Trinidad, we have our government saying that, prevention is better. Primary health care, self-care is better than running to the hospital for everything. So we thought that, doing our part to help our 5.8G cohort really take care of ourselves. So by 2030, we don't end up in the confusion with the 18 million short health professionals. So Jen and I have invited two people. One of them you may recognize as a former guest, and the other you would have heard about her. And I'm sure you got a sneak peek of her, but when Jan introduces them, you'll know them, you'll get to know them. And we're going to talk about how we're taking care of ourselves on this 5.8G platform. So Jan, you can introduce our guests.
Yes, and special welcome to our guests. And we have Dianne Maslin. And Dianne will just, chat with us about how she feels about self-care and what she has been doing, to take care of herself, to look as she's looking now. And we have Garth Thomas, and Garth is a financial consultant, and Garth is with us this afternoon. You will know Garth, as Terry-Ann said. Garth has been with us many times, Garth.
Several times.
Yes, always call on Garth. And because I know Garth takes very good care of himself and always looking good and healthy, that we thought it would be really great to have both Garth and Dianne here with us this evening to chat about self-care and for us to, if you say, celebrate the International Day of Self-Care, which is really going to be that big day is on Wednesday.
Friday,
the 24th. Is it the 24th?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So let's start off with Dianne.
If we say, just before we start, perhaps to set the tone, we can just say, what are the elements of self-care that we consider? You know, people think self-care, they focus on the physical, but that's just one aspect.
For
What are
me,
some of the other aspects?
I just put it in the group mind, body, and soul.
Yeah.
You know, because you look at your mind, mental health is very, very important.
Yes.
So I definitely believe, you know, if we in a good mental frame of mind, as you say, we can make the conscious decisions to help us live that quality life.
Mental and emotional.
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of your body, yeah, we always hear about you have to keep, you know, exercising, be healthy, eat well, you know. And
Inactive.
your soul, of course, your soul come back more. And when I say soul, more of your mind, you know, in terms of um I totally believe as part of that self-care, you should have, I call it a higher being. For me, it's my God. You know, everybody have their own sort of religious belief, but I really believe that if you have, and as I say, for me, God in my life, it will give me that nice balance. So for me, that is how I see healthcare, you know.
Okay. You know, I would agree with you, and I would add just two more to that list, because I think a part of self-care that people don't pay attention to, and we talk about it a lot, is your financial well-being. And I
Oh,
don't
yes.
mean being rich, but having your business organized and tied into the activity. What do you do? And this thing called stress.
Yeah.
This thing called stress separate from mental well-being. You know, so if we can say we have our template of what self-care is about, so I think we can have a nice discussion this afternoon. And we have our stages on with us.
Yes.
Because we have the 50 to 60s, we have the 60 to 70s, and we have the 70 plus. So we can really get a good idea of what is self-care about. Okay. So Jan, I leave it to you to lead the interview.
Well, I'll ask Diane that question too. So let's start with her. Diane, tell us for you, what does self-care mean to you?
Well, it's as you just said. Well, you quite rightly stated. God is my strength.
Yeah.
I look to Him for guidance in my life, and as I explained to you all with the scenario that I had 4 years ago, I try. My biggest downfall is exercise, which I neglect. During the COVID period, however, I got myself together and I started my little kitchen garden.
Nice
To go out there and because, as you know, everything was shut down. Our job, as you know, is decor, and all these things were no.
Yeah.
So I had to keep myself active somehow or the other. I put everything into this garden. That I never thought I would have been able to do. I cleaned the whole yard as though I was a landscaper on my own. And I look forward to it every day, getting up, going out there, sit and say my prayers, and meditate. I also got into meditation.
Great.
And and it helped me relax more. And going forward, that's what I intend to do. Eat well, meditate, and learn to relax. Because, you know.
Great. Well, Diane, I will come back to you to expand on what you have just said. So let me go to Garth. Garth, what does self-care mean to you?
Well, for me, self-care is I agree with your 3+ planks, you know, the mind, body, and spirit. And if you're going to really take care of yourself, you have to pay attention to all three. I have, in recent times, engaged an activity that allows me to simultaneously treat with all three.
Okay.
Now, I am living close to the savannah. I am
Wow.
in Cascade. So I have begun now, well, when they shut us down, they didn't want us around the savannah. That really threw me off. But as soon as that eased back off, now I used to go 3-4 times a week. Now I go 5-6 times a week. And I look forward to it because when I walk, that is a physical exercise. But whilst I am walking, I am also, I have a little jingle that I sing to myself. It is a harmony jingle. And I am focusing on harmony, and I am thanking God for the harmony. Now, you know, if you want to have a harmony impact, the Queen's Park Savannah had to beat. All right? I walk normally on the inside. I don't walk on the main track. I go inside. So I'm walking between the trees.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is so beautiful. And you know, all of those trees are so unique and so on. And from time to time, I come across squirrels.
Yes.
Let me tell you, there are a number of squirrels that live in the trees around the savannah. And when I come across a squirrel, I stand up and I just watch them for a little while and so on. But when I get back, I am almost floating.
Yeah.
All right? Because of the, you know, people talk about affirmations. I did some research and I found out that we think as human beings between 12 and 60,000 thoughts per day.
Yeah.
All right?
1,000?
Between 12 and 60,000 per day. Now, the psychologists tell us that we dominate on our dominant thought. So whatever type of thinking, positive or negative, healthy or, you know, if you focus, you know, a lot of people focus on disease. And if you understand the law of attraction, if you are preoccupied with disease, then you're calling it. So I focus on harmony.
Okay.
All right? Harmony. I am working on developing a harmony mindset. Because if I am in harmony, my body is in harmony, my finances are in harmony, my relationships are in harmony. Harmony must be the dominant theme of my life. And I work at that. Because, and you see the jingle, you know, I was listening to Bob Marley, Redemption Song, where he says, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Now, we normally, at least I used to think of that in a particular context of, you know, like slavery and all of those things that flow out of that kind of a mindset. But I have come to realize now that the emancipation of your mind has a lot to do with shaking off the social conditioning that we are subject to for all our lives. And that impacts upon our health. It impacts upon our anticipation of what is going to happen to us down the line. I am 72 years old now. I'm in my 73rd year. Let me tell you, it doesn't seem so long. People say 72, like if you know it's eons, but it's like just the other day, I was a little boy running around in savannah. All right, it wasn't that long ago. And you know, when you hit this age and you have a great appreciation of the brevity of time, and you look and see how your behavior has followed a particular pattern, and you can trace how you manage to live that kind of a lifestyle. So I'm in a reprogramming stage now. And I'm telling you, my emphasis, my focus is on harmony. Because when I sing that little jingle, you know, because this is what I was talking about Marley. Marley sings in this chorus, won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever have. Redemption song. If I can sing it, I'll sing it for you. But let us keep it on a balance here. All right. Redemption song. This song, you know, the song of freedom. All right. Now, so I have put I put some words to a little jingle that I am repeating constantly whilst I'm walking around the savannah. The effect is that by the time I come home, that little jingle running through my head whole day. All right. And I said, and that is what I wanted to achieve, because I said, you know, if I say an affirmation a couple times every day, and I have between 12 and 60,000 thoughts per day, then I don't think that affirmation can make much of a dent in what the existing consensus really is. So I felt I had to build up that thing. So I could tell you, by the time I finished my walk, because I checked it out, by the time I finished my walk, I have repeated the word harmony somewhere around 2,000 times.
Yeah.
All right.
So
and
that erased any negatives.
Okay. And then it playing throughout the day, every day. Sometimes when I just relax during the day, I realize that that's a humming little tune to myself. All right. And that tune is all about harmony. So that is really the essence of my treating with the issue of harmony, because we have all been subject to this social conditioning about all the diseases of aging. So as we get old, we begin to expect that we're going to have high blood pressure. Last time I took my blood pressure, it was somewhere around 117 to 76 or something like that. All right. My pressure is great. And I mean, I just said, look, you know, you begin to think, you know, this is the time when so many of your friends die. All right. So you're always getting some news that somebody there, this one died from cancer, this one get a stroke, this one. So you're beginning to think now, boy, what's in store for me? And you don't really want your mind to go in that direction. So that's why I say, look, let me, if disease is dis-ease, then disease cannot stand against harmony. Harmony has to be more powerful than disease. And therefore, my mission is to build a harmony head. That is my self-care.
No, God, I must congratulate you. And as I said before, about taking care, you know, of your health. But, you know, what is important also, what came out from what you just said, is for us, the awareness. We need to be aware of our bodies. We also need to be aware of our family history.
Yes.
Because if we know that, we may be able to put things in place from early and prevent, or, well, yeah, prevent some of those inherent type of you know, illnesses that we have. So Dianne, tell me, in terms of awareness, looking at where you are now, you know, you shared with us prior, you know, a bit of story, and I know I don't expect you to go into much detail, but at least a brief on, you know, how you became aware of and how you identify, or who identify that situation you had and how you handled it.
Well, really and truly, my doctor was the one who said, Dianne, I throw my hands in the air as a doctor, as your GP. I've known you since the age of 18, and I understand your pain, but I can't help you. And you need to go and do that surgery.
Then what was the condition that you had?
It's called trigeminal neuralgia, where a nerve is resting on a muscle in your face. It is horrible, horrible, horrible. So I'm a support base with my mom and my husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
from
that
what you're
support
saying
is
to
so
that,
important, yeah.
that support base, it
Yeah.
says too that with self-care,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know, it's important to have a support base
Yeah.
because you're
Can't
not
fly
sure.
solo. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And you know, you said that illness, if you could call that diagnosis,
Mhm.
it's not something that you would expected. I mean, I wasn't even aware until you mentioned. I wasn't even aware of that.
Neither was
And
I. As I said,
right,
I just went to the dentist for a
yeah,
toothache. Ended up doing a root canal. Ended up extracting the very tooth, and the pain never went away. And then my face started, and I started getting frightened because my dad died from a stroke, and I
oh,
started getting really scared because my face was feeling as if it was twisting. I can even speak on a telephone because as
oh,
wind enter your mouth, you get that shocking pain. It was horrible. And my mom, as I said, my mom lives with me. My mom and my husband. Well, my mom had to do all the cooking because even going near to the fire, the flame,
yes,
sometimes, yeah. So she had to cook special foods for me to eat. And yeah, so the support, you need the support of your family, and everybody understood no, not to call Dianne when Dianne having her attacks. You know, I have to have my ice pack. Sometimes I go from heat to cold. It was, yeah. But support, your family support was in self-care. You also need support from your family.
Yeah.
You know? So my mom is also a praying person, and my mother, I'm a praying person as well, but she was, I don't know, my direct link to God, because every day, yeah, she would be there from morning, after she finished breakfast, she would be there, Dianne, I'm just doing this, I'm praying for you, that was, you know, very emotional for me too. It was a very emotional
yeah.
time for me, you know.
Not to be.
Yeah, but it's over. I'm glad. I'm so
That's
happy.
great. It's over. And how do you, you know, continue now taking
Well,
care of you? Well, you said it
I'm
early
so
on in terms of
happy.
the
I'm so
things you do.
happy that the doctor in Colombia, he communicates with me, and he made sure that he added me on WhatsApp. So he said, Dianne, when you get, well, Lady Diana, he used to call me Lady Diana because you can't, they speak, He said, when you get back home, I want you to stay in touch with me. You have to stay on the medication for about a year. So I wasn't, but he was monitoring me on the medication. So I had particular times of the day. I called him, I said, doctor, I am not getting any kind of anything. I mean, since after I had the surgery, do I have to continue still taking this? I'm past the year. He said, no, Lady Diana, you can stop now,
Yes.
and you can try and eat everything and drink everything and enjoy your life. And one of the questions my husband asked him if this could come back while we were in Colombia. And he said, it can, but he could give, yeah, he said, you have a lifespan with 10 to 15 years. It might reoccur, but that time you don't know if you might be, it might be in your 80s.
Yeah, well, Dianne, let me highly recommend
Uh-huh.
my harmony therapy.
Uh-huh.
Don't wait for it to come back. Engage your mind.
Uh-huh.
All right. So this is why I say that if you are preoccupied with illness,
Uh-huh.
then you're creating a disease mindset, so to speak. And
Yeah.
whatever is the dominant thought in your mind, the subconscious mind will produce it. Yeah. I believe in these things. I do the research. If you understand the nature of the universe, I mean, Einstein says that the universe is made up of energy.
Uh-huh.
And Chopra talks about the fact that the universe is made up of energy and information. So it is what you put into your brain, and it is the energy that you generate, and that your brain generates energy, your mind generates energy. So if it's positive energy, then you know, it impacts positively on your sense of well-being.
Yeah.
And that affects everything that you do. It affects your relationships. It affects the way that you handle your money, because, you know, you're not looking for money to provide you with false lifestyle kind of a thing. You're looking for reality. You see, when you get to our ages and stuff, you have to make sure you dismiss all the illusions and you cut to the chase and deal with the realities of life, because, you know, no matter how much material stuff you accumulate in this life, you can't take it with you. And I'm saying, we call ourselves Homo sapiens, all right? Which is supposed to be intelligent people. And yet we spend our whole lives trying to accumulate matter, which we cannot take with us.
But
Where we
God,
going?
let me come in here, because, and you mentioned about age. It makes a difference depending on what stage you are in life.
Of course.
Because at the earliest stages, you find, yes, matter, it is very important in the early stages, the persons to accumulate money and to look at you know, wealth accumulation, etc. But when we get to our stage, which is the 50 plus, you find your thinking start to change, because you are entering a different phase of life. And many times when you are hustling in the early stages, because your body is stronger, you're younger, your body is stronger, you know, many people tend at that stage not to focus on the health part, the exercise and all the things that we now very aware how important it is to do it. So this is the stage now for self-care. I mean, it's unfortunate that is when we reach this age, we are more conscious about self-care. But what you're saying there, which is a fact, we tend not to follow that pattern in the early stages, you know? So now we want to look at, and I'm happy and I appreciate that you sharing your experiences, and it calls for a lot of us, and we're doing it actually, the research and the, you know, when you go to the doctor, let me speak for myself, when you go on and they would say, you know, they diagnose you with something or give you medication, what I do when I get home is go and research it. It is important to do that, Dan, because I remembered in my situation when I had, you know, terrible, you know, problems with breathing, etc. And I had to be rushed to emergency. And they just similar in that, not what you mentioned, not being able to diagnose what it was. So I kept being back and forth. And in chatting with a friend, and she mentioned, what tablets are you taking? Because she was able to say she had a friend who had a similar situation by taking certain tablets. And when I checked it, one of the tablets, that was it. You know, and when they tracked back, it was identified that was because of that particular medication that my body was rejecting and caused that. So yes, it is very important in self-care for us to do research.
Yep.
And to keep, you know, and that is in one of the suggestions that was made, is that we have to take action. And Terry-Ann mentioned it early on in terms of statistics and what's happening. And we can no longer sit back and just depend on the medical practitioners.
Yeah.
We have to pay attention.
To see about,
we have to pay attention to the fact that, I mean, all right.
Yes,
so you begin to understand that medicine has its limits. And I see that's what pushes me in the direction of trying to learn how to tap into the subconscious resources for health that God made me with, because, you know, he gave us dominion, and dominion is about power and control. And and the mind generates energy. That's one of the capacities of the mind, you know, it generates energy. And so I always see why I find the Western approach. Now, the Eastern approach to medicine is different. The Western approach to medicine is like a targeted approach. It's not holistic. And the fact that all of these drugs have all of these various side effects and stuff tells you that it is not holistic. So you have a problem in your tooth, they're going to deal with that.
Yep.
And the fact that the rest of the body is a part of the deal does not factor in at all.
Yeah.
And you have to, if you're serious about taking care of yourself, you have to listen, you have to pay attention, you have to understand what it is really going on out there.
But God, as you said that, and we're wanting our cohorts as 50 plus to be more aware of their bodies and what is happening. We have actually, and we're about to launch it, programs called Essentials Toolkit. And Dianne, it would really help, people to know where they are at any stages, at, the stages in life. So this, what you're saying there, because again, we are on a different stage, right? We're in a different stage where we were brought up to believe God. Yes, the medication, we go to the doctor, we get medication to help. But when you trace back in my mom's time, in the early stages, it was what they call the bush medicine.
Yep.
That's
Right. And it worked. It worked. And then we became sophisticated. And of course, and I'm not knocking medication because there are certain medications you have to take. But the awareness and the researching when we are given medication is important. Dianne, you want to tell us a bit about how the Essential Toolkit would help at this stage?
Well, before I say that, I would say, there are different perspectives to the whole discussion on self-care. And it is unfortunate that many of us, because of how we've lived, how we've eaten, what kind of activity we've had, we have an epidemic of non-communicable diseases, which really compromise our lifestyle. Whether it is diabetes and all its complications, whether it is blood pressure and all its complications, whether it comes down to your kidney, all of your systems. And I think for many people in our cohort, you have a compromised physical system that compromises how you can live. And it's sad because, Dianne, you have the problem with that nerve, and then you have medication. And
but listen to me, Dianne, let me stop you there. As God said, that medication messed with my system for 4 years.
Yeah.
That's because the dentist told me they were giving me a tablet that has destroyed my whole gum line.
Yeah.
Causing my gums to grow over my teeth.
Yeah.
That is money I have to find now to go to an orthodontist
to fix it. And my thing is that I think we have to balance, because when we talk about self-care, because of whether it is how we've lived coming up through the second act, whether it is the stress we are dealing with in life, and I think a lot of our conditions are brought on by stress.
Of course.
Yeah.
We have really, a lot of us are in a compromised position where, because we are hooked on medication, we have limited mobility, we have limited energy, we have to watch this, watch that, and watch the other. We can't take full advantage of all there is in life. And that is a reality. And the other side of it, and I suppose from where I sit, I come from a family where I have to watch it because they are diabetics, they are asthmatics, and all kinds of stuff. And I take the road of being very proactive and looking at having a holistic approach to life. Mind, body, happiness, balance is critical for me. All work and no play is my mantra. Makes this Judy a very unhappy soul. And I sometimes believe that when I know things are coming on and I'm beginning to become stressed or upset. Sometimes just mentally getting myself in a different phase, occupying myself with something that's creative and something that gives me energy is its own medicine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as Jennifer was saying, we are looking at how can we, as the 50 plus cohort, 5.8G cohort, help each people in each stage of the stages go along. And Garth, you said something earlier, pay attention, pay attention. And Dianne, you were going along with this pain, your dentist thought it was a root canal, they were going on. And sometimes, like you said, Garth, in medicine, you have something with your teeth, all right, I'm going after the tooth. I'm not going to take a holistic view of it.
Yeah.
And very often, we are so conditioned to thinking about ourselves in segments. So I have a problem with the tooth, I have a problem with my hand, I have a problem with diabetes, I have a problem with this, and we don't look holistically. And so Jen and I have decided that it is important somehow that we all stop. You know, we always say that before you make a decision, stop and assess.
Yeah.
So we are looking at this whole thing about how do we take care of ourselves. But as all of you know, if you don't know what the underlying state of play is, you'll be getting I mean, doctors I don't think doctors willfully give you wrong medication. I don't think anybody willfully gives you. But because they're taking a narrow view, they do the best that they could based on history. And you end up being badly medicated and so on. But we look at how do we pay attention. And we've come back to that mind, body, and soul issue related to the 3 platforms that we have to take care of ourselves, make sure we have an economic base, and make sure we have a community. And we have designed a toolkit, which we call the Essentials Toolkit, which is aimed at helping us to get a baseline, to look at ourselves in a very, very objective way. And that toolkit essentially starts with an assessment of your mind. What is your outlook on life? Because sometimes, as Garth, you said, depending on that outlook, there are certain stories that continue in your head.
Absolutely.
And they will cause whatever that story is to continue. And we are often not aware of those storylines that we are carrying. And so we are offering an assessment that really helps you to figure out, so is this how I look at life? Am I essentially optimistic, pessimistic, a warrior, or whatever it is? And very often we found as people go through things with us, that sitting back and assessing where is your head reveals stuff to people about themselves that they weren't conscious of, but it's very true. And very often, as Jennifer says, limiting beliefs, little gremlins, underlying, you're carrying history with you. And sometimes the first thing you need to do is go inside of here and see what is going on. Take inventory. What is going on in here?
Check and see what you're toting.
What you're toting. What are you carrying? And sometimes when you, just the opening of the window and letting the fresh air in removes a lot of crap. So that you are immediately lighter. And I think there is a serious connection between what your mind is preoccupied with and what your body does in return.
Absolutely.
So the second part of our toolkit, we are taking, we're saying it's a medical assessment. It is a medical assessment, but we are not taking a diagnostic of a problem medical assessment. We're getting a holistic of your body, your systems. We're using a naturopathic doctor who is going to give an assessment of, is your system in alignment? And that can be done by interview, you know? And very often, so we discover the clutter that's in the mind.
Yeah.
And the mind is one thing, but your body already has whatever you've been, the consequences of what you've been toting. And you are able to get a sense of, whoa, I really might be out of alignment. And sometimes some simple blood tests that go across a spectrum, they reveal so much
Yes.
about how your
Mhm.
system
Yeah.
is working or
Oh,
not
yeah.
working. And because some of us, for silly reasons, afraid needles. Or you go and you think the only thing a blood test could measure is your sugar, your cholesterol. Is it the sugar and the cholesterol? Those are the two most popular ones.
Liver and everything.
But you could get analysis
The
of
whole
your
thing.
liver function, your kidney, every
Yep.
one of your systems.
Yeah.
You can get tests and get a sense of, so how are my systems working? And then, so if we know the state of our mind, we know the state of our body, we go to the third thing. You might be fine, or you might realize I have started. What is the maintenance? Because if we're saying you have 30 more years, whatever stage, got you are 70, you go into 110, so you still have 30 years. 30
And 20, girl, what's wrong with you?
And Dianne, when we look at you, I mean, you look at you and you would not believe that you have this drama. Because you are gorgeous, you're hip, we'll talk about your life just now.
Positive vibe from
On.
there.
Yes, yes.
You know, so we know that the maintenance of this corpus, body and mind, has to do with two things: movement and activity, just keeping the joints lubricated, and then what goes inside of here, what are we eating, how are we nourishing the cells, and so on. So the third part of our kit is a full physical assessment. And let me tell you, our videos, you have to do exercises to get a baseline as to how are you with balance, how are you with cardio, how are you with flexibility, how are you with your muscle strength. And you have videos saying do some exercises, and you have to write it down, and then our nutritionist dietitian is going to tell you whether you passed or failed. And then based on how you say you eat, we are able to see how are you set up. So our toolkit with those three tests, fixing, getting a sense of your mind, getting a sense of your body, and getting you ready for maintenance, is really to set that baseline so we can now say, okay, am I ready to go forward? And I think if we know our limitations, we could work around them. And you know, Jen, we also decided, because we said those two other areas is the finances and stress, because you could have everything fine.
Yeah.
We've included a bonus checklist to just give you a sense of where you are financially. And we think it is so important. Both of you, Dianne and Garth, have talked about the importance of taking care of ourselves, because there is so much to be enjoyed in this life.
Absolutely.
There is so much to be enjoyed, you know, and both of you have lives that are so dynamic, and we really are planning that. And next Monday, our fix-up is going to be focused on the toolkit. So this is a preview. But, you know, coming back, we could, you know, what is your life like? What brings energy? Can I ask you that, Dianne? Because I know you have plenty excitement and energy, notwithstanding all the drama of your physical.
Well, as I said, COVID has caused a lot of things to slow me down right now. Eh?
Yeah,
But
COVID will stop.
you know, I assist Bert in things to do with the band, the music band.
And
We
which
just
band
had
is this? Because our audience may not know.
the Brass to the World is my husband is Manu Maslin's son. And 4 years ago we decided that we wanted to bring back live brass into the carnival, because a lot of the bands that we have,
that.
a lot of the bands don't have live brass. We have computer music. My husband is a musician, and he played with a couple bands and wanted to do his own thing before his father died. He gave him his blessings. Go and try and put that brass back on the road. That was our mission. We put the band together, talented bunch of musicians, and the work started for me because I have to help him in terms of admin with the band. All our jobs, the band travels out of Trinidad. I am a part of it because I will have to go to organize stuff. Also, with the business, we have a deco business, advertising and deco business. And he's a creative director. He's very creative. The both of us are. So we try to...
Dianne, I was just about to ask you that question. And in the interest of time, what is the impact of all your activity being involved in creating? You create music, you create beauty. How does living in a creation mode contribute to your well-being?
Yeah.
Is there a link?
Has to be.
Yeah. Now remember, I am not a musician. Huh?
But you're a decorator.
But you're creative, yeah.
You're decorating. You're very creative.
Oh yeah.
You're
Because
very
I am into the finer things. I love nice things. So I will always try to in terms of decor, getting them ready. Getting the band ready is like.
But I want you to focus on you. I want you to focus on you and your creativity, because I've seen your deco and I've seen your Christmas village.
You saw my Christmas village?
And pictures. But how does that creativity, that channeling your creative energy, help you to deal and balance yourself?
I always say God gave me a gift. Anything I touch, this is my mantra. Anything I touch, I make it beautiful.
Yes.
And
starts with you.
It started with my parents. I don't know how to tie the two together. I really don't know how to tie the two together. It's just natural. I guess it's just natural.
Yeah, well, I see you're not conscious of it because you're not seeing yourself.
I'm now about to say that too. Because it relaxes you by being creative, because I have seen the garden and the beautiful plants and all the vegetables you have been reaping because I'm following on Facebook.
But not that alone. I don't know if you ever saw our decor jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, Bert and I are two opposites. However, when we come together, we create magic. That's how I look at it.
So I think that whole creativity is so important in terms of talent, and wellness, and being not on chemicals. I think if we use our minds to create beauty, especially if we're creating beauty, creating music, creating words that are inspiring, you know. And God, what about you?
And reduces, let me say one thing, and reduces stress.
Yes, exactly. And that was one of my, you know, when you all were talking there about the holistic part of this whole, I eventually ended up by a homeopathic doctor.
Yeah.
And she told me that trigeminal neuralgia is a result of stress.
You see?
Yes.
Doing a lot of deco jobs. I remember we were doing Trinity Mall, and I was under so much stress because we were in a partnership with someone else, and the stress, all that made it so.
Yes.
And when she told, as you said, just like a tip of blood, and she was able to tell me everything.
And that is a fundamental part of our toolkit, because if we don't know what is going on in our system, I forgot, I want to make sure we have the time in. How do you balance yourself? And is it important for you to tap into creativity to make sure that your corpus remains whole?
Well, creativity is the essence of being, you know. We were made in the image and likeness of the Creator. One of the things that means is that we have a capacity to create. And if I come back to, in the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. We have these capacities. So I bring, my mantra is seek and ye shall find.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for a way. I had this image in my mind of trying to show people how most of us totem desire and debt, and showing the relationship between desire and debt.
Yeah.
Because, the rat race fuels our desire for material stuff. And because we do not practice the Eastern philosophy of delayed gratification, you want things now for now.
Yeah.
So we go into
That's what
debt
it said.
in order to get these things. So I wanted to, you could talk these things and people may agree and they may not agree, and it doesn't remain with them. So I was looking for a graphic that would communicate that thing.
Yeah.
And I got a client of mine who got stranded in Japan. He's a graphic artist. He gets stranded in Japan, but of course, because of the internet and stuff, we communicate. And I finally got him. This week, he put together a line drawing of a character, a line drawing. I don't know if you remember the saint. The line drawing with the saint with the halo over here is a similar kind of a drawing. But this guy is toting a big bag on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And the bag is full of money, but in the center of it is desire with a $ on the S and debt underneath it. Because what I'm trying to communicate is that there's a relationship between desire and debt, and that we totem it.
God, one of the things is that when we do that, we're always anticipating the next, because the desire is never fulfilled. And even if we fulfill it, we don't enjoy it. So we don't know about living in the now, admiring beauty, and know you do beautiful things. And that's it. When you touch and you create. And I think a very important part of self-care, especially as we go forward, because we may have arrived at the 50 plus with the consequences of stress of the second act. But I firmly believe that notwithstanding the medications you have to take, the status that you have, if you are able to be creative in whatever way, and create things of beauty, do stuff with children, help people, you get a balance in your life that really, really helps, because that pursuit of the desire for money and the desire for other things, I am not saying live in a hover. I love living nice.
Me too.
But you have to live in the now. If we don't pay attention to the now.
Yes. And you have to get on top of money, because you see that this is what I'm trying to communicate, that if you're under money, if you're toting money, you cannot control it. If you're toting it, you can't control it. It's controlling you. And you have to get out from under money in order to be in a position to control it. And which means now that you have a greater sense of self. Because it is not what you own that making you somebody. You own yourself. You understand your own magnificence. You understand that you have capacities that you haven't begun to explore. And you commit yourself to exploring those capacities. All right? And you feel yourself growing. Let me tell you, there's nothing that beats a sense of feeling yourself growing into things that you didn't think you were able to do. That is fulfillment, And I tell people, fulfillment is about achieving your purpose. And happiness is a byproduct of that. This pursuit of happiness, I don't believe in it. I believe in the pursuit of fulfillment. If you pursue fulfillment, you will be happy.
Will be happy. But listen, this has been amazing. And I think we will have some time just for Dianne. Do you have a overarching view, because you're a 50 plus person who has challenged, but still you found balance in life?
Yeah, and I have this since doing this meditation with Dr. Chopra. I have, every moment of every day I live my life abundantly.
Yes.
And Yeah. That
Absolutely.
I swear by it.
That's where it's at, yes.
Great,
Yeah.
great. So, Jennifer, this
Yeah.
International Day of Self-Care is coming on Friday. And we have to take...
I didn't even know it had a National Day of Self-Care, but look at how Friday I go in and really
Yeah,
Exactly.
focus.
Exactly. You know, and as we said, self-care is it physical, and you will have the physical. If you have a situation, you have to take care of it. You have to take care of it. But we are so much more than these situations and these illnesses that we have. And sometimes we just forget the other part of ourselves, you know, and we land up in more trouble because it follows stress and anxiety, which makes the problems worse. So we need to celebrate this International Day of Self-Care, and look
I
at
agree.
Connections is going to help you do that very, very well.
Because, and that one other thing, Garth, you mentioned about energy, and you know, I am totally for that positive energy and releasing the negative. So for me, self-care also, how I deal with it is keep focusing on really having a lot of positive energy. So anytime any negative vibes keep coming, even if it's in space I'm in, I have to move from that space to allow myself to always be in that positive mood.
And you have to recognize the power of your breathing, because you know, Dianne talked about her meditation and stuff. If anytime you get into meditation, you begin to pay attention to your breathing. Because that is a source of energy.
And I recommend, and that's why the yoga that I did, the yoga helps with that breathing also. So, Dianne, I know we on time is we're almost there.
We having fun. We overtime. But I think it was important for us to take a break and focus on this. That there's aspect of caring for self, because we say 30 years on the third act stage, and the third act stage is not the end. You have another one after that. We're just not focusing on it. But what we do in this interim 30-year period really sets us up to have a great time on that other stage. And it also allows us in the second adulthood to have a wonderful life. And I think it really comes from self-care, which is mind, body, and soul, the whole experience of life, and not having stress. So Jen.
Awareness, gratitude, and grace.
Yes.
Gratitude and grace. I could go with that.
That's it. That's it. So Jen.
Well, it's just to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And this is really a beautiful conversation, well in depth, where, you know, and thanks Garth and thanks Dan for sharing, getting personal in what you do. And this is a time that I'm happy to hear that, yes, on Friday, you're going to be more aware, you know, and do something. I mean, continue to do what you do.
But isn't it amazing that these things, you have these days, and most people are oblivious that there is such a day.
I didn't know.
You know?
I
and
really
that's to me.
Well, now we know.
Yes, we do.
Now we know.
They gotta promote it now big time.
Yep.
So we have put it out there.
Social media and stuff,
Great. So thank you all. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It was nice chatting.
Yes.
Pleasure meeting you all.
Pleasure meeting you, Garth. I know I will be meeting you again, Garth.
I am sure.
Yes.
So
take care.
Remember, you are seeing us. This is Wednesday Alive. But you are coming back to Gael on Monday for the second installment of Fix Up, where we are having the huge launch of our Essentials Toolkit. You're going to meet our consultants, and we're going to talk about exactly what is going to happen, and you get a chance to call in. So,
absolutely.
We see you on Monday, and then we see you next Wednesday again.
Bye. Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks for having us.